welcome to episode 13 of Movies and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Marcus.
God damn it. And this is
Okay, sorry.
And this is the review show that reviews genre movies from the beginning, sometimes. And as you can tell from Marcus's stupid voice, we're actually going into Batman 1989. It was... Oh, crap. I guess I should have had the credits ready and stuff.
Come on, TJ, you should have this already.
Yep.
It stars Tim Burton. Tim Burton.
Yeah.
It's directed by Tim Burton.
We're not there yet.
I'm so sorry.
It's 2 hours and 6 minutes long. It had a $35 million budget and made $411 million worldwide.
411 million worldwide.
Yeah,
is that the biggest one we had so far? Thinking about it.
Quick, Superman did 300 million.
Yeah, that's insane.
So yeah,
Batman beat Superman once again.
Oh God, don't talk about that because this movie was based on the tone and stuff was based on Dark Knight Returns, which is a very overrated comic in my opinion.
Shots fired.
It is. Frank Miller, I don't like Frank Miller in the beginning. He's kind of a scumbag these days. But even his work that people really like, I still think it's overrated.
Why?
Because it's not that good. I mean, there's some good things in it, but there's a lot of, trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Raise Batman above everything else, essentially. And Batman's a great character. He's one of my favorite characters. I do a whole podcast on Batman, but he's not this super being godlike character that can just defeat Superman.
Oh, okay. So you're saying he makes him more than a man. He makes him more...
He tries to make Batman into something... if you read any of his future stuff with Batman, he's too dark and too gritty, and he's not... He is that, but he's not that too. There's a hopeful side to him. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, yes.
And, I don't know, he beats up Superman in this, and everyone says this is the one that Batman beats Superman, and Batman gets credit for beating Superman in The Dark Knight Returns. But everyone always leaves out that Green Arrow helped Batman do it.
Really?
Yeah. Green Arrow shoots like a kryptonite arrow thing, and which helps Batman win the fight.
I thought that was just a Batman device.
No, Batman had hope to beat him, so he didn't actually beat him. And I'm not even defending. I think I'm in the category, if Batman had enough time to plan, he could probably take down Superman. But it's just... And then the whole propaganda behind Superman working for the U.S. government. By the way, this is a rant by me, and Marcus has not read this comic, and I know he hasn't read it.
No,
but this is just me. And this is one of the comics that the Batman 89 is based off of, the dark tone and all. The other one that it's based off is called The Killing Joke, which is actually one of my favorite comics, even though people have a lot of problem with that one, too.
Now, why do they have problems with that one?
Well, The Killing Joke is the one where the Joker shoots Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and paralyzes her.
Yes. And
people really didn't like that they did that to her back then, because it was Phrygian. You know what Phrygian is?
In the terms of what?
Alright, so Phrygian in comic books at least. In the Green Lantern comics, Kyle Rayner, he was the fourth Green Lantern. Well, they killed off his girlfriend and she was stuck. When he came home, he found her dead in a fridge. And it was just a plot device. Phrygian is killing off a female character just to further the male's plot thing.
Yeah.
And that's what Phrygian is. And that's what that was, hurting female characters and having them have lasting damage, paralyzed or dead or stuff, whereas all the male counterparts tend to get reset back to normal. Barbara Gordon was paralyzed in The Killing Joke and stayed that way until 2013.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne was paralyzed by Bane. He had his back broken by Bane, and I forget what the storyline's called. And that's a big moment in comics, but Bruce only stayed paralyzed for a year before he was reset.
Well, remember, he's Batman.
Yeah, but that's a common trope. All male characters tend to be reset back to their normalization. And The Killing Joke had the paralyzation, and don't get me wrong, Barbara Gordon was like as Oracle is an awesome character, but you know it still had that trope, and it's a little I mean it's a little pretentious, honestly, with the Joker trying to prove that he can turn a sane man insane by
You find that pretentious?
well, no, not really, but like not the idea of it, but how it's presented.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Is it like preachy, I guess, or?
No, it's just it's hard for me to explain without you reading the comic.
That's fair.
Like, but it also has what is commonly known as the Killing Joke, commonly known as the Joker's origin story.
Yeah.
Which I really don't like.
You really don't like this comic, huh?
Well, no, I like the Killing Joke. This is what I'm talking about. I moved on from the Dark Knight Returns.
No, you're good.
Like because the Joker's always been most interesting because, like, one of his greatest sayings is, the best backstory is the one where it's multiple choice. You don't know what your backstory is. He doesn't even know what his backstory is. But the Killing Joke kind of established a pretty solid backstory for him.
Was it? Or is it? Or what was canonical at that time?
Well, he was a Fallon comedian, and then he got mixed up with the mafia, and he wore this thing called the Red Hood, and then he got dropped into a vat of acid and got turned into the Joker.
So I can definitely see elements of that in this movie.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of inspiration taken from that into this movie. I don't know what I was talking about before I got into those rants.
Box office, Jack. What were we talking about?
I don't know, but I went on a rant. There's actually two really things. I ended up liking this movie more than I remembered because I haven't seen this movie in years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
I kind of didn't personally.
Like decades I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
And but there are two moments in this that I really hate it.
Do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to wait until we get to them?
No, we'll wait till we get to them.
Okay.
But I never did credits. So this movie is directed by Tim Burton, which I think he was coming off of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know Beetlejuice was before this.
Well, I know Batman was greenlit because of the success of Beetlejuice.
So this is 1989, correct?
And I didn't realize at the time that Michael Keaton was Beetlejuice. I mean, I knew he was, but I didn't realize Tim Burton directed both Beetlejuice and then Batman, and they worked, together before like that.
Really?
Yeah, I never realized that before.
That's funny. Sorry, before we continue, Tim Burton also did, I guess a few years prior, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
And that's about it for his big ones.
But yeah, that was also a big problem. They said they got Tim Burton, who did Pee-wee, and then Michael Keaton, who was Mr. Mom. They're going to do a campy 60s movie.
Exactly.
And the fans wrote like a giant petition about it and stuff like that.
Which is fascinating because you think they would have been cool with it after the first Batman movie that came out, the one we reviewed.
Yeah, but that one was 1960s. This was in the 80s where Batman was revamped to be darker.
Yeah.
Like, Batman was campy from like the 50s to the 60s. It wasn't until like the mid 70s when he was revamped. Which, by the way, I'm going to go back into my little rant here. Frank Miller gets credit for, turning Batman dark, and he wasn't. He wasn't the guy that did it. It was, I forget who the writers were. I should really look it up and find out who they were. But the guys in the 70s who retooled Batman and changed him from campy Silver Age to what he was now. I just really, really don't like Frank Miller.
Are you the bad guy in this episode? Not me?
I might be.
Well, you gotta say my phrase later.
People might, disagree with me, but I don't care.
Yeah, who cares about them? This is your show, your opinions. Let's get on with this.
All right. It was produced by John Peters and Peter Guber, which I recognize both those names. I don't know from where, though. The screenplay was by Sam Hamm and Warren Scarron. Story by Sam Hamm, based on the DC Comics characters. Starring Jack Nicholson, because Jack Nicholson had some demands in this one.
Because he was the man. Now, mind
So
you, before going into this, he also starred in a lot of movies. Like he was in pop. Me personally, still a big name. Like he was in The Shining, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So many Witches of Eastwick. So many good films.
he's
Broadcast
great.
news.
He's a great actor, but when someone comes in and demands that I want an off the clock agreement and that I get to work whatever hours I want to work, I get to work as I get to be off for all Los Angeles Lakers home games. Like what?
Yep.
Why? Really? He also demanded that all of his scenes be shot in a 3-week block. I mean, that ended up lapsing into 106 days. Apparently,
It's a
he
big
did.
difference.
He did reduce his salary to $6 million instead of for the $10 million, but he got a cut of the earnings, which he made it upwards of like $90 million because of it.
Yeah, he knew he's not a dumb man.
Yeah. He also demanded top billing on promotional materials, which is why it stars Jack Nicholson, then Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, Robert Wool, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams, Michael Goh, and Jack Palance. Music by Donnie Elfman. I brought that up because the music is
Wait.
awesome in this.
Danny Elfman.
Isn't that what I said?
It's like you said, Donnie Elfman.
Oh, if I did, I apologize. It's Danny Elfman. But the music is awesome in this.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's probably almost better than the movie, honestly.
The movie's decent. I like the movie.
It's not a bad movie. It's just I'm so used
You
to being the
watch-
bad guy. Just like now you're taking the role of it. I'm not used to being good.
You watched this more recently than I did, though, right?
Yes, I watched this recently for this episode of the review, but I did watch it about 2 years ago out of curiosity. And when I watched it those 2 years ago, I remember it was being a long movie. And watching it recently again, it felt like it's a pretty long movie.
It's a long movie, but it's not as long as you made it out to be.
Definitely not.
Because I was going into it, and I was thought 2.5 hours, but it's only 2 hours and 6 minutes.
2 hours, 6 minutes is a long time sometimes.
It did drag in spots.
Yes. Yes.
But when you were into the movie, it didn't feel that bad.
No. But see, then again, this is the first movie on our list so far that's what I have actually seen before. So going into it, I had my nostalgia goggles on, so I had to take those off and actually had to analyze this movie.
That's true too. This is the first one you've actually have seen.
Yeah, so I had to actually look deeper into it. It's like, I don't like that, don't like this. Kind of like that a little bit more.
Now, before we go into the movie itself, I know we've been talking for 15 minutes about anything but the movie, but I wanted to mention that apparently Tim Burton wasn't into comics.
No.
He said he didn't know which panels to read. So he wasn't sure if it was dyslexia or whatever, but he never got into it. But he loved the Killing Joke, the story, and he also always liked the image of the Batman and the Joker. So
you can tell by watching the movie because he does. It's a lot of shots and scenes in this movie. You can just feel like they've been lifted off the comic book panels and all that because it's like so like wow. I get the tone. I get this 80s vibe.
But I also got it was way more style over substance.
Yes. 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 That's like that was one of the points I had to take off of this movie. Like, man, it's cool looking. Was this look kind of stupid?
Yeah, there's a few things in here that I did not agree with, but as far as the production and movies go, is what I'm saying. Not even from a comic standpoint. There's a few things I had comic standpoint problems too, which we'll get to, which really made me mad. But
oh man, you sound like a Batman fanboy over here.
I am a Batman. Like I said, I do practically a whole other podcast basically on Batman.
Well, you ready to get these egg suckers entertained?
You had to get it in before you forgot. You forgot.
Yes, it had to be done.
All right, I guess we should start this movie.
It feels like we don't like this one, but we actually did like it, so we're just postponing it. Okay, let's start Batman.
So, I usually do the opening thing, but we don't really open it first because the credits are over a spinning bat signal symbol that you don't really know until the credits are done.
Yes. But it does kick off with a great score.
It does. But it has the same problem as Superman. The credits are just too long and nothing's happening.
But see, now thinking about it, like we're recording this in 2020 something. We have a mindset, and like we're just trained to like get to the point nowadays. So cut, cut, cut. Screw the credits. Show the credits over something interesting. Back then is how it was. Like when we get to the Spider-Man movies, those credits sucked. So like this is the time period thing, I guess.
I guess, but it's like 5 minutes of names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's like, and it's just a spinning granite looking bat symbol. There's nothing even interesting going with it. I'm trying to figure out if we're in a sewer, if we're doing, if we're in a cave or something.
Well, that was the thing back then. Like, okay, we're close up on the image and make them guess where we're at.
Yeah, and but I'm so busy guessing because I'm so bored.
Yeah. Well, now I'm trying to think. Like, what are the credits nowadays? Like on the Marvel movies and all that. We have the panel flips nowadays, but like, what else do they do?
They just start the movie, don't they?
I don't remember.
And they just have the credits going as the movie's going.
Because right now I'm thinking of Civil War. Don't they start off in the scene?
Yeah,
car chase thing.
I actually can't remember it. I've seen those movies 1,000 times.
Exactly. So like, granted, credits are credits. Like no one talks about movies because they're credits. Well, besides Wolverine, we'll get that later on. But yeah.
Well, I always remember the James Bond opening credits because it's always a music video.
Yeah, and they're great. They're beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's why. But these credits are boring.
Well, that's another thing that set James Bond apart from me. Why are we talking about James Bond? That's like one thing that set James Bond apart from a lot of movies was its opening credits.
Well,
who sang it? Who's like performing it? Like that was like a big thing. It still is a big thing.
All right. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about opening credits.
Yeah.
So
you got lost on that
one. So we open up in an establishment shop of Gotham, and our first introduction to Gotham, and we learned that Gotham sucks.
Yeah, I wrote down it's like very muted colors, very just blah, dirty, Hollywood dirty at least.
This family's coming out of, I guess, a movie theater because it's I'm guessing a comparison to how the Waynes died. Spoilers.
Yes. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
But he comes out and he can't get. Someone steals his cab. You know, people are rude to him. He's kind of a jerk too. He's got a kid and a wife. The kid's got a map, and they go into the alley, and of course they get robbed.
Yes,
because they didn't want to show the Batman's origin, but they were gonna give you an allegory to it at the very least.
Which is funny because later on in the movie, I wrote down my notes like an hour and a half into it. They show it. So why did you start off with it?
I don't know. It was just to show Batman beating up some crooks.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the crooks rob this guy, but Batman doesn't stop them from robbing him. They actually rob him, and Batman watches it happen. He's just sitting on the roof watching this happen.
Now, okay, before we get further, like this is Batman's like first day, I think, isn't it? Like his first few outings.
No, well, it's in the early days of his career.
Yes,
but in the early days in the career, it depends on what you read. Like if you read the 1930s comics, he started out in like the middle of his career.
Yeah.
And the cops are still chasing him as a vigilante. But if you read like year one, which I also think was Frank Miller, but wasn't that bad. Year one, the cops kind of kept his identity on the down low, and everybody thought he was more of a myth than anything else.
So like this,
kind of like this, but this is a little more. The cops don't seem to actually see him for the first time in this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that he's been seen and they're chasing him, but it's not widely believed that he exists and stuff like that. So the crooks are on the roofs with their money, and one's talking about how other criminals have been taken down by the Bat, and then and the other guy's like, the Bat doesn't exist, and then of course Batman shows up, and he's on the roof. And he starts doing these poses with his cape.
Yeah, he flourishes. He's like, hey, guys.
And I wrote, is Batman Dracula? Because it looked like Dracula.
Maybe that's what Tim Burton's trying to go for, because he's like, it's gothic, obviously.
Yeah, I guess,
But
but
yeah,
it
very
was
over the
weird.
top. Yeah.
There's a few weird moments with Michael Keaton in this batsuit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he feels really stiff, like he can't move.
And that's a fact, though. That suit was really he couldn't turn his neck at all. Like,
It didn't look bad though.
No.
It looked good.
yeah, it's just you can't move in it.
Yeah, but like some of the looks he gives when he I don't remember where in the movie he is, but he's coming up from like a sewer grate, and the look he's just giving the camera is like, "What am I doing?"
Yep. Like, I'm Mr. Mom wearing this bat suit.
Anyway, Batman beats up the crooks, and
He does his famous dangles one of them over the edge of the building and threatens him.
But he doesn't drop him.
No.
He does give us the line though. You want to take it?
Well, the criminal says, "Who are you?" And he just looks at him and says, "I'm Batman." And throws him over. Like, he does throw him over the thing.
Yeah, but he tells the cook, "Tell all your friends that I'm here."
Which I feel like he did a bad job of Batmaning at that moment, because he kicks
did.
them and then he just leaves them. Like,
Yeah, he doesn't even get the money back or anything.
No, he's just like
he did not care about that robbery at all.
No, he let it happen. Then he terrorizes the goons and leaves them. Like, what?
Yeah, and he didn't even terrorize them to stop them or anything. He's like, "Go tell your friends about me."
Right? It was just lucky that the police showed up. That's all that is.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
So we cut over to, I guess, a press conference.
A campaign run, I guess. What do you want to call this?
Where the mayor is talking about the 200th anniversary of Gotham City.
Yes.
And we're introduced to the new DA, Harvey Dent, Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, Mr. Malt Liquor himself.
Harvey Dent. This is a classic story. Harvey Dent is Two-Face, if you didn't know.
Yes.
So, and I guess Tim Burton had plans to make him Two-Face later, but never happened because you know the history of the Batman movies.
Yeah, it's sad too. Cause I think I would have enjoyed to see Billy D. His take on Two-Face.
It would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would have been different. Now, he does later on in the films, not these ones, but like I think in the Lego Batman movie, he reprised the role for a few lines. But besides that, that's all we get from him.
Yeah. Although I do like Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face.
Oh man, yeah, God, I love his movies.
I do not, but I
love them.
Well, let me just say, I'm just gonna say it here. I liked Forever, and I hated the other one.
Wait, which one's Forever?
Riddler and Two-Face.
Oh, I loved No, wait, what's the last one? Batman and Robin? That's not the last one.
Yep, that's Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy.
That one, so good.
That one took two great villains and destroyed them.
That movie is like a 10 out of 10 for me. But we're talking about Batman 89. Let's keep going.
So we cut over to and we're introduced to Jack Napier, which, by the way,
yeah,
is really not the Joker's name.
What is
his name wasn't really established up until this point. It wasn't until these movies. I don't even. It might have been in The Killing Joke that his name is Jack Napier too.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, his name is kind of Jack Napier these days because of the success of this movie and The Killing Joke and stuff. But
so this movie pretty much gave the Joker a name.
Well, it's more of the Killing Joke comic, but yeah, this one really popularized him as that.
I always thought it was funny though, like for Jack Nicholson, most of his characters he plays has the name Jack whatever, so.
I probably can't remember his name otherwise.
Nope. And I totally believe that.
I'm not knocking him for it because...
No, because I'd be the same way.
I do an anime review show podcast other than this one, and I can never remember any of the characters' names in any of those shows.
That'd be impossible. I barely remember the names of people in these movies.
Yeah, I don't know half the people's names in these movies.
No.
We cut over to the reporters next, because all I wrote was reporter.
And he's talking. Yeah, yeah. We introduced to his blonde girlfriend in the scene, him and his blondie.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's talking to her. I don't remember her name.
Is it? I know her name, but because I have a few scenes after that though.
No, no, no. Like Jack Nicholson's character, Jack Napier, his
Oh,
blonde.
oh,
Yes,
oh,
that one.
oh,
Yes,
oh. No, I was talking about
not Vicky.
not Vicky. Her name is Alicia.
Okay.
Um, and so Jack Napier works for a crime boss, and apparently he's sleeping with the crime boss's girlfriend. That's what we get
Yes.
from this scene. And then we cut
Yes.
over to the reporter, and I just wrote reporter, and I don't know what the scene is.
Stop.
So.
You wrote that down too.
You just wrote
Oh,
reporter.
oh no! Before we go any further, I have down my notes. American Express. 5 minutes into, we had our product placement. American Express. The two
Oh,
thieves on.
there was a few product placements. I didn't write them down though.
No, that's the only one I wrote down because it was like 5 minutes into it. Like, wow, it was quick. But this next sequence is the dirty cop talking about what happened on top of the rooftop and Batman, and we do get the reporter. It's super annoying. Forget his actor's name.
The reporter comes in and tries to get the dirty cop
Yes.
to talk about the Batman. Okay.
Yes.
And then after he says like no comment, then walks over and talks to Jack Napier.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And this is where we learn that Jack Napier is like crazy, kind of. We also get introduced to Bob.
I like Bob.
Bob is completely original to this, I think.
Really, I was going to ask you that when I was watching this.
Yeah, I'm not real. I didn't look up his comic history, but I'm pretty sure Bob is just a character for this movie.
Hold on, before we get, who plays the reporter?
Who plays her? Like the actress?
No, the male reporter, the annoying one, quippy.
Yeah, he looks familiar to me too.
He's on some stuff. Hold on, guys.
Robert Wool.
Yes. If you don't know who Robert Wool is, IMDb him. Now he is from.
Like his most popular ones.
Scott.
Bull Durham.
Oh God, I have no idea.
Yeah, he's
Good Morning Vietnam.
You'd recognize him if you see him.
Yeah, he is like pinnacle 80s, 90s actor. Comic relief kind of guy.
Right. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything really
Good
big.
Burger. That's where I know him from.
Of course, it's where you know him from.
I was 97. I was 6 years old. That's what I watched, man. Welcome to Good Burger Home with a Good Burger helmet. Take your order. Reporter.
So Dirty Cops.
Yes.
Reporter.
Jack Napier has Dirty Cops in his pocket.
Well, the crime boss that Jack Napier is working for does, and the Dirty Cop says he doesn't work for you, Jack Napier. He works for him. And then we cut over to City Hall, and I don't know why. And then we cut back to the reporter meeting Vicky Vale after the City Hall scene.
Yes.
And, the reporter guy, I don't remember his name, he is pretty much laughed at because he's the only one trying to report on Batman. No one actually believes Batman exists. But Vicky believes him, and she wants to get a picture of him because she likes bats, and she specifically says she likes bats.
Yes. She's a good photographer, too. So it's like, I'll click onto this. Now, is she in the comics, too, or no?
Vicky Vale, yes.
Okay, is she like one of his love interests, Batman's?
Not 100% on that. I'm gonna say yes, though.
Okay.
Because he's Batman, and he always has love interest, and there's usually a female character shows up. There is a love interest angle to it.
Yeah. Like Bond, like James Bond. My God, they're very similar. Then they cut back to, well, not back to, but they cut to Jack Napier and his boss.
Yep, Boss Grisham, which is not a comic book character.
Okay, so before we continue, Jack's Batman, Vicky, and Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent are characters for sure.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Alfred,
of course. Yeah.
I don't think anybody. Oh, I think even the mayor is different. Even the Dirty Cop Eckhart. I don't think he's a character. I think he was supposed to be designed based on Harvey Bullock, which is a cop from the GCPT, but I'm not sure about that. I know they changed Boss Grissom, who was supposed to be Rupert Thorne, which is a mob boss from the comics, but they changed it into an original character for some reason.
I get annoyed when they do that kind of stuff, because, what's the point of that?
I don't know. I mean, you have the characters, you might as well use them, right?
Exactly, especially people like the characters and know the characters. I don't know. Let's never rant for a different day.
Anyway, so we get introduced to Boss Grisham, and is this the meeting he has telling?
He tells Jack to go somewhere.
Oh, they're gonna break into the Axis Chemicals,
Yes.
which is also not a thing. It's called Ace Chemicals in Gotham City, and I know I'm going really deep into Batman lore, but I told you I'm a Batman fan, and it's supposed to be Ace Chemicals, not Axis Chemicals.
Well, I changed that. Okay.
Anyway, so we cut over to Wayne Manor, where I guess Bruce
Well,
Wayne is
like
allowed.
before we get that, like he sends him there, and it would definitely get the undertones, like, oh, he knows Jack is up to something dirty. He knows he's sleeping with.
Well, with his girlfriend, yeah.
Yes, like it's definitely into that in this scene.
Oh, back where Vicky Val's introduced, they decide to team up, and they want to go to the fundraiser at Wayne Manor, and Vicky Vale has 2 invitations to it, so they're going to be there as well. So over at Wayne Manor, I guess you're allowed to gamble if it's for charity.
Yeah,
Is that how it works?
it looks like it. It's a very for being such a big mansion. They're all fit into like a really narrow room.
Right. So it looks like. Well, I'm just gonna say we're gonna review Punisher. It looks like the illegal gambling den from the Punisher.
It does, but like a grade above that, because that den is so bad in Punisher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks like Bruce Wayne is running an illegal gambling den.
It does. It really does.
For rich people. Right. Yeah. But yeah, this is where we get introduced to Alfred. He's going around, cleaning things up and doing drinks and stuff.
I love this Alfred. It's probably my favorite Alfreds of all Alfreds.
Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, so it's just a bunch of conversations happen in this. Commissioner Gordon's there. He learns that Jack Napier is robbing the chemical plant. The reporters are trying to get different information. They break away. Vicky Vale's looking for Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's wait for that.
And she runs into him, but he says, I don't know who Bruce Wayne is. And then the 2 reporters go off and break into Bruce Wayne's arsenal.
Is he, in the origins like this, is he, like, not well known? Like, is, like, Bruce Wayne not in the public limelight like that?
It depends on which, like, in the early 30s, Bruce Wayne is known as a playboy philanthropist. Well, maybe not philanthropist, but he was a playboy, well-known playboy.
Okay.
Like, everybody's always telling him to get a job because he does nothing. So the reporters discover his arsenal, and he's got like different suits of armor and stuff. And Bruce Wayne walks in on them, making fun of them essentially.
Yeah.
And he explains he bought the suit in Japan, and they're talking, and one reporter is trying to talk to him, but he's like, him and Val are just into each other from that moment.
Yeah, love at first sight, essentially. If you want to call
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think of Michael Keaton's performance as Bruce Wayne?
Oh, thank you for asking me this, actually.
Well, I just want to preference because you really loved Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent.
I did.
So I'm curious.
See, this is surprises me, actually. When I first saw this, like when I was younger and like 2 years ago, I enjoyed him a lot as Bruce Wayne. But this viewing, for some reason, I did not like. Maybe because he's still a younger Bruce Wayne in this movie, I guess. I didn't like him that much as Batman / Bruce Wayne. He was too Michael Keaton. He wasn't Bruce Wayne, if that makes sense.
Too comedic?
Too Michael Keaton. Like, he didn't really...
Well, more of a comedic side to him.
Yeah. Which I don't mind comedic, but like there was like... I can understand the complaints at the time, like why Mr. Mom wouldn't be a good Batman. Like, not saying he was a bad Batman. It's just...
No, I liked him I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are points.
Yes.
Where it didn't feel like it. Let's just say he's not Christopher Reeve.
No.
So what did you think of him as Batman then?
The suit made it hard for him to do the best Batman he could do, I feel.
Yeah,
it was too restricting. Like from the film side of me, watching him fight and do Batman stuff, you could see the cuts hiding him not be able to move or do things. He was a better Batman he was a better Batman than he was a Bruce Wayne. But even that Batman fell short to me. Okay.
And this is why you do a movie podcast with a film student. But, so Bruce is in there and he's flirting with Vicky, and the other reporter's just comic relief. And then Alfred comes in and says that, Commissioner Gordon has left. And Bruce is like, okay. And then he's like, no, Commissioner Gordon is left, being really, really obvious.
Yeah, like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, cough, cough.
It's like, Alfred, what are you doing?
I mean, again, new time for like this is new to Alfred too. Like, there's no code, I guess, they have for this.
I don't know. But then we get shown the Batcave for the first time, which is just a giant computer, it looks like.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw, I was like, this is the Batcave? This is it? Just multiple screens?
Yeah, it's not much. I mean, they show a little more detail later. It's just some steps and like a platform for the car.
If this is a Batcave from 1980s, like this is like every teenage kid boy's room nowadays. 5 TVs, a lounge chair.
I literally have 3 screens up in front of me right now.
I have 2 in front of me, 1 behind me. Like, come on. I have the Batcave.
But then we cut over to the Axis Chemicals, where Jack Napier is trying to steal documents, but he realizes he's been ratted out.
Yeah, because you break into the safe and it's empty.
And so the dirty cops show up and to kill Jack Napier. However, before they can get to it, I mean, there's a few chase scenes and stuff, and they're shooting left and right. And then Commissioner Gordon shows up and says, "Don't kill him," because he's the good guy. And then finally, Batman shows up and starts attacking people.
Oh, before we continue, this Commissioner Gordon, what'd you think of this guy?
I had really no opinion of him because he was really, not in it much.
Yeah,
he didn't really have much to do. I will say, he is comically accurate for the 30s and 40s. He was more of a heavy-set guy in the early comics.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, But, so the Jack Napier's thugs are going up against the cops, and Batman's in there taking out guys left and right. And eventually, Jack Napier's about to kill Commissioner Gordon, but Batman grabs him. But then Bob grabs Commissioner Gordon, which is Jack Napier's henchman. I don't think we've mentioned that. And says, you can't let him go or you're going to shoot him. And then Jack Napier ends up shooting Eckhart, killing the dirty cop. And then
he says one of my favorite lines. He's Jack Napier looks at Eckhart as he's about to shoot him and says, "Hey, Jack," or no, "Hey, Eckhart, think of the future." And he just blows his sorry. He just shoots him right in the chest. It's great.
Well, yeah, which was a callback from earlier in their conversation where Jack was Eckhart was like being saying he doesn't work for Jack, he works for his boss, and then Jack kept telling him, look to the future.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be around forever.
Fantastic.
Yep. And then the Joker tries to shoot Batman, but Batman deflects a bullet and it hits the Joker and he falls over. Batman tries to save him, and then Jack falls into the acid, and the Joker is born.
Yeah. It kind of, from the angle it showed, it kind of looked like he, not purposely dropped him, but, he didn't have much of a reaction when he dropped him. Like, oh, my bad.
Yeah. Well, early Batman, killed people left and right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I think Tim Burton Batman kills a lot of people, too, so.
He did kill a few. Did you have a body count for this one or no?
No, I didn't write a body count because he blew up a whole factory full of guys at one point. And I was like, I can't count that. So how...
That's fair.
So, Batman escapes, and that's that. Then we cut over to the reporters where Vicky Vale has a date with Bruce Wayne.
They move pretty quickly.
Yes. And this is where we juxtapose Bruce Wayne's date with Vicky Vale and the rise of the Joker, because... Vicky Vale goes to the Manor, and Joker's getting plastic surgery done.
Yes.
And, this is where his skin is bleached, and he's got his green hair and stuff like that.
Although we don't really see that fully yet, which is...
Right.
Now, at the Manor with Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne, they have that little big table, comedic bit, I guess. What'd you think of that?
Yes. It looked like it actually looked like Alfred's idea. Like, Alfred's like, here, have dinner. I set dinner at this table. You guys eat. And then the two of them are like, yeah, this doesn't work. Let's go in the kitchen.
I never thought of it as that take. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
Whereas, because throughout this whole movie, Alfred's trying to impress Vicky Vale,
yes.
trying to get Bruce to be with her.
Yes.
So it just seems like it would be something Alfred would do.
Okay, I know what. At first, I hated it. I've always hated it even when I was younger, but by that perspective, I enjoy that now. It seems like a little gag Alfred would do. You're right.
Yeah, so... Or you can even look at it this way. He did it purposely so he could get them to come and be more, come into the kitchen and do it. Like, he's purposely set it up to fail that way.
I like that a lot. It's like routine.
because he's his dad essentially.
Yeah.
So he's very smart, and he would think he would be able to come up with something like that. Or originally he just thought maybe this will impress her. So because Bruce didn't serve that soup.
No.
Alfred did.
Yeah. Alfred set up all the plates and everything. So yeah, no, that's never crossed my mind once. Side question: how often has Alfred died in the comics?
How often?
Yeah, has he ever died in the comics?
I know of 2 times.
How was Batman's reaction to that? Was it ever?
The first Alfred died in I think it was the 60s, and a giant rock fell on him, and
what?
It was ridiculous.
It sounds ridiculous.
But it wasn't that big of a deal back then because, it was the 60s and stuff like that. But Alfred actually died a couple years back in the comics.
Oh, wow.
Bane took over the city, had Alfred captured, and said if any of the bats come in, he was going to kill Alfred. And at the time, Robin is Damian Wayne. I don't know if you know who Damian Wayne is.
Yes, I do.
Well, Damian Wayne's a hothead, and he came in, and Bane captured him, and then broke Alfred's neck in front of him.
Oh my goodness!
Yep,
I like that a lot.
And he's been dead ever since.
No,
and they're still doing with the Fallout. Like in the most recent Nightwing comic, Alfred had left his personal fortune to Dick Grayson.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my good. Now, Dick Grayson is the one who becomes Nightwing, right, or no?
Yeah, Dick Grayson's the original Robin who becomes Nightwing.
Okay, wow. Oh, that's so sad. That's really sad to me.
It's some good storytelling.
Yeah.
Batman is rarely ever bad in comics. There's some bad times, don't get me wrong. There's some bad ones, but it's consistently well written.
Now, why is he consistently well written over everyone else? Because is it because he's the main Batman, or is it because he's easier to write for?
I think it's because people love Batman.
Okay.
I think the people who write Batman just love Batman. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you find someone saying, I hate Batman.
I guess it's kind of like how Star Wars had its fan fiction category, and most of it was pretty decent to good. And people who actually like the stuff make it good content for it.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I think it is. There's just more passion behind Batman. And it's hard to change Batman. You know what I mean? With Superman, you can go all different places. With Wonder Woman, you can go different places. But Batman's really hard to change.
What do you mean? What do you mean hard? He's hard to change.
You can't just have him bright and sunny all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could turn Superman dark.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Batman's Batman, yeah.
Yeah, a bright and sunny Batman. It really doesn't work that well.
Yeah, he's always consistent for the most part.
Don't get me wrong. There's some bad direction with Batman. No one in the Bat family is allowed to get married. They're all always miserable.
I feel it's a fair rule.
Not really.
I know Joker's crazy. He does things
Yeah, it just gets repetitive. At some point, you need to have some progression somewhere. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So, on Bruce and Vicky's date, they kiss. They're moving very fast. Meanwhile, the Joker shows up at Grissom's place to take over. He ends up killing him. So, Vicky ends up sleeping with Bruce.
Now, at this point, how long have they had known each other for?
Days?
Days. That's so fast. Okay.
And she does mention that later.
Yeah.
She never does that and stuff like that. But,
yeah. I'm not saying she's a floozy or anything. I'm just saying in the movie, it's a fast thing.
It's a typical trope. They fall in love in 2 days. And
yeah. I get it. Movie's got a movie. I get it.
There was a moment where Joker's being Joker, and he made this expression, and he really looked like the Joker from the comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the makeup really works on this. Sometimes it's really weird, though. But
how did we talk about this yet? The makeup, yeah.
Yeah, the Joker makeup is pretty good.
Even this is 1989. This is 30 years later. It still holds up.
Yeah.
Like you said, at some points it is definitely weird looking, but overall, it's hard to tell where it begins and where it ends. And it's this is some good looking makeup.
So you're a movie guy. How did they do the makeup when he puts up the regular person makeup up and it runs off.
I love that bit so much.
Yeah, how do they do that?
That is just like they use like regular makeup. Like they'll either
What's up? Wouldn't it be makeup underneath that makeup?
No, like they put like heavy human. They put like heavy like human tones on his face, and they can look like he has makeup, top makeup, and then they'll put like when he has the rag on his hand and wipes off the fake makeup, puts a white makeup on. Everybody has like white makeup on it. Like I love that bit. It's so simple, so effective, and it shows it sells that character more.
Right, because it makes it look like he's actually the Joker underneath that makeup.
Yes, so simple. I love this. To me, I know it might be controversial, but I think every live action Joker we've gotten so far is good in their own way, if that makes sense. Like this is a great, I guess, mafia Joker, whoever he is. I love Jack Nicholson as this Joker. I like Heath Ledger later on. I like Jared Leto.
You do like Jared Leto, and it's
I
ridiculous.
do. It is over the top stupidity.
I hate that Joker, but whatever. We'll get to that.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, since I like all the Jokers, I love this Joker. So I'm just putting that out there. Like his makeup, his acting, everything is great.
Mark Hamill's still the best Joker.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Anyway, the next morning, Bruce lies to Vicky Vale that he's going out of town when he's not.
What did you think of that, by the way? That whole running plot in this movie of like, should I tell her, shouldn't I tell her, I'm Batman kind of thing.
I mean, it's kind of stupid.
Why?
But I get why he wouldn't want to tell her that he's going to visit his parents' grave in an alley. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I thought like that as Bruce Wayne was common knowledge. Like, oh, Bruce Wayne, yeah, his parents were killed in the alley. I thought everyone knew that.
So did I. That didn't make sense to me that no one knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah, especially because he's the family man of the city.
And then they don't know what happened to his parents. That didn't make any sense.
No, that was super weird to me.
What? Yeah, I don't know. It's tropey and lame, honestly.
Yeah,
and it's unneeded. Honestly, they could have done this whole movie with her dating Bruce and never finding out. There's been plenty of stories where he's even gotten married at one point to a girl in the comics, and she didn't even know he was Batman.
That's so stupid. Why do you come home sometimes bruised up, honey? That's
well, it's funny you say that, but like the first love interest we get introduced in the comics is his name's Julie Madison. That's Bruce Wayne's fiance.
Okay, and
this is 1940, I think, and they're living in different houses and they're engaged. Like she lives in New York. And he lives in Gotham, so I think it was like
that's weird.
I think it was like a time period thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's foreign to me.
Yeah,
but yeah, see, like how I said earlier in the podcast, how this movie has points where it does drag. That is one of the points, like the whole will they, won't they, or will he or won't he tell her? It's like just why? Movie's long enough as it is. We don't need that little bit in it.
So Joker is taking over the gang. He gathers all the mob bosses that worked on the Grissom. And, he hand buzzers one of them to death. Well, I say they fall in line, but Joker just makes his henchmen rush them out of the room.
Yeah, he forces them in line. Like, they have the Joker, like, club jackets on, the Tommy guns.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess they fall in line, but it doesn't seem like it after what happens later.
Yeah, no, that's why, I felt like there was, like, a deleted scene somewhere where they were like, no way, man.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I wrote Bob for some reason, so I guess something happened with Bob.
Oh, how Joker just holds him weirdly, like you're my number one man, Bob.
Oh yeah, because that was a callback too.
Oh really?
Because Grissom said to Jack Napier, "You're my number one man. Trust me,"
Oh, okay.
And then he says it to Bob there, which is a precursor to what happens later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, as Vicky's leaving the manor, she's like, "I guess I'll see you in a couple days." And Alfred says, "We're not going anywhere." She decides to tell him to, Crime Alley, which is where the Waynes got murdered in the comics.
Is it really called Crime Alley?
It's called Crime Alley.
It's called Crime Alley. That's where the richest families got murdered.
I don't think it was called Crime Alley until they got murdered.
Even after, that's so disrespectful. Don't go down that alley. It's dead. That's a dead parent alley, guys. Crime Alley. It's so stupid.
I don't think it's called Crime Alley in this movie. And I also don't think it was an alley. They say it was an alley in this, But it's outside of like some abandoned storefront.
Yeah, it's like
Which is
it's
weird.
like a cut through of anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, after Bruce honors his parents, he goes to City Hall where I don't know why this mobster is announcing to everybody that he's taken over the crime family business.
Yeah, which is really weird. The reporters are there and police are there. Like, what's going on?
Right. But Bruce shows up there, and then there's mimes just miming all around. And then the Joker pops up and uses a pen.
A feather pen.
A feather pen, like an old-timey pen, to kill the Bob Boss on the steps with a pen. And everybody just watches.
And again, there's two armed cops, officers there, watching this happen.
Yeah, and no one does anything.
Nope.
Joker just gets in the car and drives away.
After, like, unleashing gunfire, correct? Like, doesn't, like, his gang start shooting it up for some reason?
Yeah. I don't know. And then we cut back to the Joker in his hideout, and he's jealous of Batman.
For some weird reason. Oh, because Batman takes the news, right?
Batman is overshadowed on his,
Yeah, which is weird, because you think the Joker would be, like, definitely top billed at that point.
Yeah, but no, everyone keeps talking about Batman. But then Bob shows up with pictures he's been taking of everybody around. And Joker sees a picture of Vicky Vale, and he's got a new girl.
Instantly in love, like how Bruce Wayne was.
Yep.
Side snippet real quick. I love how the Joker has all his costume changes in this movie. I haven't realized it before until just now.
Like how he changes. Well, there's subtle changes. That's why.
Yeah, but like he dressed up as the ringleader. He dresses up as a painter later. Like he does a Joker thing. Like I just rare to see that. I feel.
And then the Joker kills someone on TV. He actually poisoned a bunch of products. He poisoned a bunch of products, and which is a stupid plan because it only kills if a certain combination of things happens.
Yeah, I liked it when I was a kid, obviously. But yeah, after they read off what it causes, it's like that's it. Just those like 5 things.
Yeah, it's just those 5 things combined. It's like that doesn't even make sense.
No. But I did like the fact that, okay, a terrorist is doing something like that to the town.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely stopped people from buying things and holding stuff. People were afraid to go to the store, which is a very Joker thing.
Yes.
It was just, I don't know, it just seemed like the combo of stuff didn't seem like anything that many people would combine together.
No, and not in that fashion, too. Another gripe I had was the only people you see get worse off by not buying this stuff are the newscasters. Everyone else is still well groomed.
Yeah,
and I wish if everyone was going like dirtier, I'd be like, okay, this is a nice touch in the movie.
But anyway, the Joker seems to be able to take over TV towers because he's got his own commercial.
Very, very well made commercial. Like no one can stop these commercials.
Which is funny because even in the comics, the Joker has always been able to interrupt TV signals, and no one's been able to figure out how to stop it.
How does he do that?
I don't know. In his first appearance, he just showed up on TV in the comics as he was killing people.
But how? Like,
I don't
even
know.
in this movie, like, how is he doing this? I
don't know.
Even as a kid, it blew like drove me crazy.
He must have taken over the TV towers.
But like, they're showing the news station though. Like, how else? Like, I don't know.
But yeah, you mentioned, the newscasters, have zits on their face now because they can't wear makeup and stuff like that.
What's wrong with that cause them zits?
Well, I'm sure if they had a zit on there, the makeup would be covered up, wouldn't it?
Not that well. Oh, those are some big-ass zits they have on their faces now.
Yeah, I think it was just to accentuate,
Yeah.
And then we cut over to Vicky Vale calling Wayne Manor to tell Bruce that she's going to be 10 minutes late to the museum. But Bruce doesn't have a date with Vicky at the museum.
Yeah, who's Batmaning it up today? What's going on?
I don't know. But Bruce doesn't show up. He's just, what's it called when you leave someone at a date? Stood up.
Yes, they still... Well,
Bruce stood her up.
Hold on, I got confused by this. He didn't have a date plan for her, right?
No.
But, like, she gets... I get why she gets angry at him for this, because she doesn't know this wasn't his idea. But later on, doesn't he, like, admit that this was his idea?
I don't remember that, no.
Okay, I feel like I was missing something in this section of the movie.
No.
But that'd be good.
But anyway, she does get a present, though.
Yeah.
There's a gas mask inside that says, "Put me on now." And then the whole museum gets gassed. So, before we go to continue, What the hell is this museum?
Thank you. It's a museum with a restaurant and a bar.
I don't think I've ever seen a museum like this before.
No, especially like no, and I haven't either.
It's like,
I thought
this is just a prop for this movie, isn't it?
yeah, I thought the same thing. Like when I was like the last time I've been to a museum, I don't remember ever being like a food court like that, like where like, people serve you.
All right. So after everyone's gassed, I don't know if he killed them all or if they were just knocked unconscious.
I was thinking the same thing in my head canon. He killed them all.
Yeah, me too. But you would think if he's using gas, they would all have smiles.
Did you ever see in their faces?
You see a couple of their faces, and they're not smiling; they're just out.
Oh, so maybe they are knocked out. Because yeah, in my head canon, I want them to all be dead because I'm a dark brooding man.
I mean, it is the Joker, so maybe he just gassed them. But
yeah, but like I don't think the amount of time he spent there, I don't think he would have risked that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I forgot.
Anyway,
we mentioned the music of Danny Elfman, but we never mentioned Prince.
No, I'm getting to there right now.
Okay.
So the Joker comes in and he's disfiguring all the art, like the paintings and statues and stuff, to a Prince song.
Yes.
And this is one of the biggest problems I have with this movie. These Prince songs do not fit in this movie at all.
Blasphemy, sir. These Prince songs are the movie.
They do not fit. It doesn't even sound good.
Here it is. Come on, man. The Batman soundtrack. You don't think the song "The Future" or "Electric Chair" or "The Arms of Orion" or "Party Man" or "Vicky Waiting" or "Trust" or "Lemon Crush" or "Scandalous" or best of all, "Bat Dance" to fit into the movie?
No, not even slightly. I'm sure they're great on their own, but in the movie they're kind of terrible.
Yeah, no, they're awful. They're like, I love Prince. I like these CDs like a guilty pleasure, but in the movie. The movie stops twice for these songs to play. Like, man, they really had to put these in here, huh?
Apparently, because, man.
I believe this is a criticism of the movie in general. People don't like that it does this. It's bad.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Like, it's not atrocious. I still enjoy it.
No. They just didn't fit thematically at all.
No.
Like, the Joker's in there dancing to this music, and I don't know, it's awkward.
Awkward, yes, yeah. It's well, I guess in a good way, because that's who the Joker is. Like, it's a little off-putting. Like, why is this going on?
Yeah, but it feels like the Joker is dancing to a different song that's being played.
I never had that feeling. I know what you're saying, but I never had that feeling with these songs. To me, it's like a joke on the audience. Like, it's the Joker's joke on the audience, if that makes sense. Like, hey, you're just through like a little dance number.
But it's not bad enough to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, you're saying, yeah.
So, I mean, the songs on their own are fine.
Yeah.
But, like, it just didn't fit. It felt like the scene that's playing, Jack Nicholson is dancing to a different song than it's actually playing.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I totally get what you're saying.
I don't know. I didn't like it.
I did.
Good for you. So, Vicky Vale is having dinner with the Joker, and he's like, they're both art. He's talking about art. He's an artist. And he says her early work sucks, but her pictures of dead people were great and fantastic because, he's the Joker. And he shows her his work of art, and he brings out Alicia and her mask. And she takes off her mask, and she's just mildly scarred.
Yeah, I always thought like her face was like way more grotesque than it was. I was like, oh, that's it? Just a few bumps on the right side of her face, that's it?
It's not that bad.
No, I'm expecting like Elephant Man makeup or something like that to be really like nightmare fuel. But that's the Joker's thing in this right now, right? Like, he's like, since he's been scarred, he wants to scar everyone else. Like, he appreciates that damaged people.
Yes, but, it seemed like she was going to take off her mask and it was just going to be disfigured, and it just looked like she got burned a little bit.
Yeah, like a very little bit.
Anyway, but he's talking to Vicky and appreciating her, but then he tries to kill her with a flower full of acid.
Yeah, well, I didn't think he was trying to kill her. I think he was trying to like mark her up too.
Disfigure her?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a face full of acid could kill you.
No, people survive that. It happens now currently.
Yeah, but they also can die too.
Yeah, but it's a gamble for the Joker.
That's fair. Batman then busts in to save Vicky, and he uses his a line glider.
Hold on, he like breaks into like the worst possible. There's like a glass ceiling on top of her and the Joker, and he just whoosh, glass all over them. Like, that was real. They'd be scarred up.
I've been noticing with superheroes that can't fly,
Yeah.
they tend to break in through glass ceiling windows.
Yes, they do. A lot. You notice that too, right? In the next,
Yeah. Yes.
it's like they're like, perfect glass window, time for my entrance.
Oh man.
So dramatic.
So they get out of the museum and jump in the Batmobile, and they're being chased by the Joker mobiles. Did you notice that the cars the Joker drove?
I love it.
That were green and purple.
Yes, like as the movie gets on, more of the Joker stuff becomes more Jokery, and it's great. But you want to talk about the Batmobile? Because I know it's always iconic to talk about.
Good.
I don't care about it. Do you want to talk about it?
The only thing of note, I mean, what's there to say? It's the Batmobile, but the special effects later when he puts on the shield's a little bad.
Yes, but right now, like it's just iconic. It's the Batmobile. Like compared to the '60s, this is more sleek, more cool, but looks very cramped. And I wouldn't want to be in it.
Yeah, there's really nothing to say about the Batmobile that hasn't been said before.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Like we're not gonna say anything revolutionary about it.
So they get to a point where I guess they run into traffic and they have to get out. Batman and Vicky.
Yeah.
And so he gets out and he puts the bad special effects shields on. And watching Batman run through a crowd of people was ridiculous.
Because now you realize that's a man in a bat suit running.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. And he's all awkward and trying to ride, and it's just not working for him.
And that's the thing. Like that suit is cool. It's a nice suit, and like the way he moves in it, sometimes it's pretty cool looking. But like you just said, like it looks more often than not though. It's like very awkward and like it's not pleasing.
Yeah. So, but they get cornered by Joker's men. So Batman uses a grappling hook. First, he asks Vicky how much she weighs.
108 pounds, I think.
And then, and Batman mentions later that she weighs more than that because he's a jerk.
Yeah, put on some weight, huh, Vicky? That's why Bruce Wayne doesn't like you, he said. It's terrible.
So he goes up and with Vicky, and he says, grab the grappling hook, and she does. And he just free falls down into a bunch of trash bags.
Yeah, he free falls and knocks himself out. Like it's... I laughed out loud so hard at that point.
It's like, I don't think you thought that one out there, Bruce.
You really didn't.
Because now the bad guys are about to take off his cowl, and Vicky's taking pictures.
Because when you say it's so ridiculous.
Uh-huh. But they get distracted, and then Batman beats him up. And then, I guess Joker hires Master Swordsman as the sword minion comes out of nowhere and starts attacking him. And then, of course, Batman beats him up.
By the way, this is the segment in the movie I was talking about where the edit's definitely hiding how he's moving because he cannot move at all. He's just moving his arms up and down a little.
Yeah. But yeah, so Batman beats them all up, and they get back in the Batmobile. Why did they get out in the first place? And he drives her to the Batcave.
In the most Tim Burton-ish fashion ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen this scene, seriously, if you haven't seen this movie, why are you listening to this?
Because they like us. They're here for us.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They're egg suckers. They can't think more than that, TJ.
So in the Batcave, there are bats, obviously.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why does Bruce have one of them caged?
He has more than one of them caged, doesn't he? He's got a few cages hanging out. I don't know. I always thought that was weird.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why.
And I think he says, like, they're great hunters. Like, why have a thing like it's a great hunter caged up?
Like, I don't know.
Does him or Alfred have to, like, make a schedule every day to come down here and feed the damn thing or something?
Or is that thing... Well, it's if anyone would feed it, it was Alfred, because Bruce isn't doing anything. but is that specific one his pet, and he has a name for it? I'm just curious why it's in a cage.
I always thought it's a weird thing. It's just, like, prominent, too. Like, does it get, like, the most pets of all of them? Like, probably named after his mom or something.
Whatever. So, Vicky treats kind of looking at his mask, trying to figure out who he is, and eventually, Batman gives her a file that figures out the Joker's formula, and then he puts his cape over her head, and I guess she just gets knocked out from that.
Yeah, I thought he roofied her, like some kind of like knocked her out or something.
It looked like he punched her in the face and knocked her out.
He did this because she has pictures of him, and he had to take them off for her.
Yeah, and she patted her chest.
Yes.
So Bruce had to reach down her shirt and grab that.
Yes.
So
kind of not cool.
Not cool, Bruce. Not cool at all. But he got the film back. Good for him, I guess.
Yay.
But yeah, so Vicky takes the formula to the reporter she's been working with, and now everybody knows what to not combine. It's like deodorant and hairspray and stuff like that.
Yeah, like some kind of perfume and makeup. Like nothing's like.
It's all beauty supplies.
Yeah.
It's like, Joker, why didn't you just poison like food?
Or the water.
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to kill everybody.
Yeah, I would have.
There would have been no audience for him otherwise, right?
The world is the audience.
Yeah, but he likes to be in person, it seems like. He likes that in-crowd kind of thing. So Alfred convinces Bruce to go visit Vicky, and he's going there to tell Vicky he is Batman.
Why?
And he says,
why not?
Because that's where this love story is going, apparently. But before he can tell her, Joker shows up. Because of course he does.
Because, yes. He knows exactly where she lives. It's probably easier to find where she lives, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, she is a famous photographer, so...
Yeah.
I don't think she's a photographer in the comics. I think she's an actual reporter, like Lois Lane.
I guess they want to change this so it's not too similar.
Or else, you also don't have the whole camera thing either without it.
Yeah.
So Joker shows up, and he's ready to make her his new girl because his last girlfriend committed suicide, apparently.
AKA, he pushed her off a ledge.
Or, she was so horribly scarred, she finally had enough and just jumped out a window.
Yeah, those few bumps on her face were so dramatic.
Yeah, but they made it seem like in world that it was.
No, yeah.
And that she was kind of zombie-like at certain points, so...
I don't know why, I've always saw it as a Joker just pushed her off or killed her somehow.
And I'm not saying that's not definitely a possibility, but I can see the Joker also taking pleasure in driving someone to do it themselves.
Yes. Again, I see both equally possible.
So,
I like mine better, though.
Whatever. Joker meets Bruce Wayne. And then Bruce tries to out-crazy Joker. Doesn't work, because Joker just shoots him.
No, but I've always loved that little bit. That always... You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I love that bit.
Yeah, right. But, so Joker shoots Bruce and then just leaves. Why did you show up there?
Yeah. He likes tormenting people. So he torments her.
But I thought he went there. I got the impression he was there to take her.
Yeah, same.
Right?
Yes.
But he doesn't. He just leaves after shooting Bruce because I guess he thought he killed Bruce.
But he didn't know Bruce was there, so what was the point of going there then?
Yeah, exactly. But Bruce had a metal pan under his outfit, and of course the Joker doesn't shoot him in the head. He shoots him in the chest.
But before he shoots him, he says his famous line, which I do not remember how to say. You ever dance with...
Do you want to ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yes.
Which is the first time he said it throughout the movie.
Yes.
Which I think is a mistake. He should have been saying it throughout the entire movie.
Well, if a line so iconic like that, or so iconic for the movie, it used to be at least 3 or 4 times by this point. So
yeah, and not just because it's iconic, because it's bad storytelling anyway.
Yes.
Because it's used here and then later just for that later scene.
Yes, and it's the flashback scene too.
We'll get to that.
More.
And then obviously the Joker bought a present for her, and she opens it up, and it's a hand in a box, like a Jack in a Box, with flowers. And I'm not gonna lie, when the box opened, it kind of got me.
No, it didn't.
I flinched.
No, it didn't. That's great.
I forgot it happened, and I was like, I thought it was gonna be something stupid. No, it was a stupid hand that got me.
I can see you jumping. That's great. But I think that's why I always thought he killed his ex-girlfriend, because I've always figured that's her hand. So he either pushed her or chopped her up or something.
Oh, was that a real hand?
That's why I always picked. That was my guess. That's her hand, her veil, probably. It could have been
I just thought it was a prop.
It could have been.
I don't know. We cut back over to the reporter. Vicky Vale finally learns the fate of Bruce Wayne's parents. Yep. And they postpone the 200 City Hall, postpones the gala. But then the Joker shows up on TV, part 2. But it's not a commercial this time. This is like an interview thing.
Well, he's interrupting the live broadcast of what the mayor's saying for the 200 thing. And what bugs me about this, my film side coming out, you're in the TV studio and it has all the TV set up, and okay, this is what's live, this is what's going to be cut to next, etc., etc. And what's live is where the red dot's at, and it's the mayor on screen with the mayor's posse, like Billy D. Williams, the Two-Face, and all that, looking to the left at nothing, but on the screen they're looking to the left at the other screen of the Joker talking. So what the people are watching right now It's just the mayor looking to the left at nothing, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but never even popped into my head.
No, it drives me crazy. Even as a kid, like I didn't understand the red dot part, but like the mayor's not looking at anything. Why is that? Why is he just looking to his left? He can't. He probably can't even hear it. Honestly.
That's true.
Yeah. So like, what's going on?
And how does the Joker take over their live broadcast?
Exactly. Like I know they do that at this transition to swipe. How the fudge does he do that? How does he pull it off? Like, is he magic? Like, what's going on? It just kills me. Like that's just breaking that part down. Does always make me so angry and confused. Sorry.
I don't know, but the Joker said he wants the 200th year gala happening, and he's going to drop $20 million in cash to everybody in the crowd.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Was it 200? Maybe it's not 200. It's 20 million.
Did I say 200? No, you said 20 million. That's a lot of money. I'm saying.
Anyway, we go back to Bruce, and he figures out through deductive reasoning and the way Jack Napier looks, and a flashback, that Jack Napier had killed his parents.
Very deductive of him, for sure.
And I hated this.
Oh, wow.
I hated this
Why?
so much.
Why?
Because it breaks Batman.
How?
So, here's the thing. The idea of Joker killing Batman's parents is okay, but here's the thing. Once Batman defeats Joker, he has no reason to be Batman anymore. The reason why Batman is because his parents were killed by a random act of violence. So he can never be done being Batman because crime still exists. But if it's the Joker that did it, if it's not just a random act of violence and it was premeditated like this was, then it doesn't matter, because once he stops the Joker, then if he gets his vengeance and he can stop, he can move on. He doesn't have to be Batman anymore.
Well, I can argue, you could also argue, him being Batman, and even though he stopped his Joker, his whatever, he still wants to help others and stop other people doing bad, terrible things.
But that is not Batman's mission. It's not a sympathy thing. It's a part of him that's broken, that he can't get back, that he can't fix, because it's just the world's a bad place.
Yeah.
You know?
So like let's say he kills the Joker or whatever, and like stops the Joker from doing Joker stuff again after Joker kills his family, he can still be broken.
Yeah, but it kind of takes out that whole war on crime side of him, you know what I mean? Because because now there's really no reason for him to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? He's just doing it because at this point, after he stops the Joker.
I get what you're saying, but I think a good writer could find a way or reason to keep Batmaning.
I'm not disagreeing with you, and they have done it before. There have been plenty of times where they in lore that mobsters were behind the reason that this guy killed the Waynes, and it's bad there too, because it's just not Batman. You know what I'm saying? It's just not Batman. It's not who the character is.
No, I agree. I think I get what you're saying. Like, it's better to have a known, unknown, unstoppable, random thing to kill his parents, keep him going. I get it, but I don't think it.
It's better storytelling. It's better in every respect than just having this one force come in, because it's just a stopgap at that point.
It's a stopgap. It's too coincidental. Like, it makes the world too small. I totally agree.
And I still think that even that story could work if it wasn't Bruce Wayne and it wasn't his origin story. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Batman has grown beyond all into an icon because of his war on crime, because of that, and then turning around and making the Joker, who was not the person who killed his parents in the comics at all.
Yeah.
And just turning around and doing that and connecting in that way really feels contrived.
But I guess for a person like me who hasn't and probably will never read the books, this is like not as good, I guess, as what you want it or what people will want, but it's not the worst thing ever. Like, it's not atrocious.
No.
It's not like, oh, that's what they did. It's like, oh, Joker, okay.
No, but then again, you go back to your problem. Where now, okay, everybody just lives in Gotham,
Yeah.
and you have that. The world just feels small and not lived in at
Yes.
that point either.
Yes.
And not just from a casual standpoint. And I mean, I have a problem from an overall fan of Batman point of
Yeah.
view. And again, this is just my personal opinion
Oh
on it.
yeah.
But I think the Joker, or even a mob family putting a hit on the Waynes, which was a storyline in the '60s in the comics, which I think they retconned later out. But that breaks Batman, I believe.
No, that's fair. But yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. But I guess for me, and not as a big Batman fanboy, it's not as a damning thing. I guess.
No, because you don't have that much invested into the character.
Yeah.
But then that bad thing, in my opinion, it's compounded by an unforgivable thing. Alfred lets Vicky Vale into the Batcave and reveals his identity.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, 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 no.
But see,
Alfred would be fired.
the thing is, Alfred does that a lot in these movies.
But Alfred Pennyworth would never reveal Bruce Wayne's identity. No, unforgivable.
So are you saying at this point in the movie it starts to go downhill for you a little bit?
No, it's just these two scenes back to back, compounded with the worst comic book. You know, the worst. Let me put it this way: the most movie producer input part of this is this. You could tell. You could tell.
Yes.
You could tell non-comic book fans are like, "Ooh, maybe the Joker should be the person to kill Bruce Wayne's family."
Yeah.
Ooh, we have to get Vicky Vale to learn Bruce Wayne's name. Alfred's just gonna let her in. You could tell.
It's got to be too nice and clean. It's got to be spoon-fed to like. Well, if the Joker is just a random person, like if it's just someone who randomly killed the parents, the audience will understand or get that. You got spoon-feed. I get it.
Yeah. But you could tell that was definitely. It might have even been Tim Burton himself, because as we know, didn't read comics.
Yes.
But even so, you could tell it was they were not a fan of the comics, because they would have known that was a no-no with the Alfred thing.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, that it was just two really bad scenes for me back to back that really brought this movie down a couple points for me.
So let's say you were seeing this for the first time in the theater, and you saw that scene and then the next scene after, like those two. Would you have stayed and finished the movie, or would you have gone up and walked out? Like, be such a fanboy. It depends.
Are you talking about me now, who's really invested in lore, or me back?
TJ, who's invested in it, yes. Would that have broken?
I wouldn't have walked out, because I have OCD and I would have to finish the damn movie.
Oh, okay.
But it would have pissed me off to no end, and I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have an outlet like this to complain about it. I would have probably went into work and started bitching about it.
Yep. Go to the comic book store. Do you guys see Batman? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I would have had to get it out somewhere.
Well, I'm glad this podcast exists for you.
That's all my podcast is for me to bitch about things.
Yeah. So
Batman suits up and then gets in the Batmobile, I think. Oh, no. Wait.
Vicky Vale.
No. He suits up after, Vicky, he's like, we can't be together. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's what he pretty much says. He gets in the Batmobile, drives to the Joker's factory, because he just happens to know where the Joker's factory is. And then doesn't get out of the Batmobile, but has, like, these comically metal circular bombs attached to the Batmobile that he drops. And he blows up the entire factory with all the Joker's goons in it.
Before he even does that, like, he bursts through the gate in the Batmobile. Then there's, like, a metal door. He pops out two machine guns, and they perfectly cut out a section for him to drive through. And it's just like, wow, this is where they're going with this right now. And then the metal balls drop.
I think Batman was trying to catch up to Joker's kill count in this moment.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of people in that factory.
A lot.
But the Joker's not there. He's in a helicopter.
So what was Batman's plan here? To kill the Joker, or just to wreak havoc? Like, what was he doing in this scene?
Well, that was the factory that was distributing the chemicals to the
Yeah,
products.
you know what you do? Just call the cops or something at that point.
So this is one thing you need to learn about Batman. He does not call the cops.
I know this. And this is why, like...
And another thing you need to learn about Gotham City, the cops in Gotham City are incompetent.
Incompetent and sometimes bad. No.
And so that's why they need Batman there to save them, because they can't do anything without Batman.
They're always outside help.
Just all I have to say is refer to the 1966 Batman movie.
So good. So good.
Where all those cops couldn't function without Batman.
Batman.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I complained about that movie about the cops, making him an honorary member and stuff like that. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Okay, I thought it lost you.
No.
But an honorary member of the police force. But I just got to a few comics ago where the cops finally made Batman an honorary member of the police force.
That's
so
funny.
Apparently it does happen.
Man, you just ate your words. I love it.
But I guess I guess that's what happens. I guess you just make a vigilante an honorary member of the police force and have him do all the work for you.
See, vigilante, that's dumb. And like watching this movie and seeing how Batman is so bad at being Batman so far, it made me really like understand why like this is not a good idea to have a man in a bat suit doing stuff like this. This is a terrible idea in real life. Just the destruction and just the people dying. Like, this is not cool.
Anyway, we cut to a parade celebrating Prince, apparently.
Yeah.
They're just playing his song over and over again.
It's so good.
And the Joker's got giant balloons, and he's throwing money, and then Batman shows up in a bat plane. But the balloons are full of gas, and people start dying.
And they almost full of gas?
You?
No. It's just, no.
I don't know.
Nothing. I was trying to fart into the microphone. It didn't work. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So, but the reporters are there too, and the comic relief reporter gets a baseball bat and a mask and starts hitting guys for some reason. I guess there's some kind of pun there with the bat, right?
Oh man, yeah.
But Batman shows out the bat plane and steals the Joker's balloons, and the Joker's like, "Those are my balloons. He stole my balloons. Why didn't you tell me that he had one of those things?" And he tells Bob to give him his gun. Bob gives him his gun, and then he shoots and kills Bob.
And I was really bummed out by that at that moment. Man, I really liked Bob. He was a good side henchman. He wasn't snarky. He's like, "Okay, boss, do whatever you want." He's a good guy. R.I.P. Bob. R.I.P.
But it's very in character for the Joker to just kill Bob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I wasn't surprised. I was like, just upset.
I mean, it was kind of foreshadowed, like I said earlier, when he said you were my number one guy. And then I wrote, the Batplane sucks because it gets taken down by one bullet from a giant Joker gun. And it also has bad aim because he shot like a machine gun and missiles at the Joker, and it goes right around him.
Now, I was thinking at that point, is that where he's like, to me, his aim can't be that bad, so I'm guessing he's like, you know what, this is where I start my code of honor. I don't kill people.
No, because he kills someone.
I know.
Not even close.
Listen.
He just has bad aim, and then he crashes the Batplane.
But then again, like, sorry, going back to the vigilante, how's he have this thing? Who the hell makes this, and how does he have a Batwing?
Wayne Enterprises made it.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Anyway, Vicky Vale goes to check on Batman, but she can't find him, so the Joker kidnaps her and takes her up the bell tower of the church.
But why?
Because he's got to catch the helicopter that's going to be there in 10 minutes.
But why?
I don't know, but Batman survives the plane wreck. And we learned that Joker's giant gun can be pushed in like a telescope.
Oh, yeah.
We also learned that Vicky Vale doesn't like shoes.
Shoes?
She's wearing high heels in this movie, throughout the whole movie,
yes.
Right? And on 3 different occasions, she has to take off her shoes and run barefoot.
Yes.
And I noticed it for the 3rd time up the bell tower. She takes off her shoes and throws it. And I just came to the conclusion she doesn't like her shoes. I don't know why she wears them.
Well, because they're harder running.
Well, then don't wear them.
Well,
if you're always running from Joker and stuff.
Well, she didn't know she's gonna be constantly. I put this in my notes.
She's a report. She was a reporter, She showed up at the parade knowing the Joker was going to be there. And she knows the Joker has been obsessed with her this whole movie. He put on some running shoes.
Okay, but fashion first, and then practicality. You should know this, DJ.
I am not a fashionable guy.
No, you are not. You're right. You're not.
Not even slightly.
I was watching this movie and I realized like how much she goes through as a character. Like she is constantly between Batman and the Joker, is just constantly being put through the ringer.
Yeah, she's not a bad female character.
Oh no,
at all,
not at all.
I mean, there's the love angle trope, but she's not a weak character by any
No.
means. I mean, she's always captured, and she's obviously the damsel in distress for this movie, but it's not as blatant as it could have been.
Exactly, she's not dumb.
No. So Joker takes her to the top of the bell tower and uses his acid, that flower he has on his lapel full of acid, to knock the giant bell down the staircase to block the police from getting up to him. And I guess he tried to crush Batman with it. I don't know. And then Joker shows up at the top. Well, not Joker. Batman finally gets to the top, and then Joker's dancing with Vicky Vale as Batman has to fight 3 of the Joker's top villains that we got to know. Knife Boot.
Knife Boots.
Knife Boot. Hold on, I lost my place. Idiot Goon who tries to jump on Batman and then falls to the floor. And then Giant Chain Goon.
Yes. I don't know why I forgot about this fight.
And yeah, so, Batman ends up beating him by
doing the bare minimum hand movements.
Yeah, no, I'm my notes are out of order for some reason in this.
Oh, Tina, you're at the climax of the movie.
Yeah. So apparently, I wrote the Joker pretends to shoot himself. He puts the gun to his head and says, "I can't do this anymore," and it's the bang gun, the classic Looney Tunes thing.
Bang. Yeah.
And then Batman kills Chain Guy by hitting him in the head with the bell and then knocking him down the whole tower.
So maybe his code of honor of not killing didn't really hold up for that long.
But so, Joker thinks he's got Batman beat. I don't know why, because Batman's not there. And so Val distracts him by starting kissing him and stuff. And then, she goes down on her knees, and then Batman punches Joker in the face.
And he falls over the cliff, right? Or the
not at that moment. There's a few. He throws him around a little bit first.
Yeah, like a little tussle.
And then he punches him over the top of the roof. But he does not fall to his death because apparently there's a ledge right there.
Yes.
And Joker comes back up and pulls them both over the top of the roof.
This is the sequence. It's another sequence like before he gets knocked over the roof or the edge. That I just felt was too long. Like the whole dancing bit and these extra fights. Like slim it down a little bit.
So the Joker's helicopter shows up and he's gonna leave Batman and Vicky to fall because they're hanging for there. And he gets onto the ladder, but Batman uses his grapple gun to wrap his gun around both his Joker's foot and a gargoyle.
Which
at the same time.
I don't know how he pulled that off.
No. And the gargoyle is not really sturdy because it breaks off. You would think that would be more attached to the roof than it was. But no, it breaks off and it's like hanging from the Joker's ankle, and Joker falls from the helicopter down to his death. He splats like Bugs Bunny.
It wasn't that bad.
He splatted like Bugs Bunny. He even, when they go to show his body, there's a laughing thing in his coat.
I did enjoy that bit. A little ha-ha-ha thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cartoon.
Yeah. I guess they didn't want to make his death so dark. Because when he was on the ladder of the helicopter about to fall to his death, he's like groaning or making this weird, like, I'm about to die noise. And it's kind of off-putting. It's like, man, this is kind of getting really grim.
Yeah, whatever. Val and Batman fall, but of course, Batman has a grappling hook, and the day is saved. Got over to a press conference where they say Joker's been arrested, Joker's dead, everything's fine, and Batman gave us a bat signal. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, so wonderful.
And so I guess the cops are good with Batman now because he stopped the Joker.
Even though he killed so many people, blew up a factory, broke some windows. Yeah, he's a good guy, guys.
Not trained in law enforcement at all. But Val's listening at the press conference and says goodbye to her comic relief reporter friend and is picked up by Alfred as going to meet Bruce. But Alfred tells Vicky Vale that he's going to be late, and he's just standing on the roof looking at the signal. I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to be late on purpose.
Yep. Just admiring how
The
great
end.
I am. Yeah, how awesome I am, Batman.
The end.
Oh man, what a movie that is.
I realized towards the end there, I got really cynical towards it.
I told you after that, like after those two sequences of that movie, you kind of were like, you know what?
Yeah, I kind of went downhill after that.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that as in my notes. But when I was done watching it, I didn't feel that.
Definitely. But like they definitely had an impact
I was like, oh, this is a decent movie. That's what I felt. That's what I felt when I was done watching it. But according to my notes, apparently not.
Yeah, you got really angry, like subconsciously, I guess.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Overall, I think this is the best Batman movie. Well, it's hard to say. I have to rewatch the next one.
Yeah, that's the thing. But you have to watch the other.
Well, I know the 3 and 4 aren't it.
No. But the next one definitely could be it.
It could be, but it's, maybe a little too dark.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
So this one might still be it, but I haven't seen Batman Returns in over 10 years.
No, same here.
So.
And I recall that's like one of my favorite ones personally, if not my favorite of the 4.
Yeah, but going back and rewatching it again might not be.
Exactly. Nostalgia, man. It's a son of a bitch.
Yep.
But yeah, what's your overall thought to this movie?
I liked it. Yeah. I mean, it's long.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just read a comic of Batman.
Yes.
But I didn't regret watching it.
No.
I didn't regret rewatching it.
Yeah.
It was fun revisiting it after all these years. It was the same thing, like, I had the same reaction with Superman, even though some of them are really bad, but going back and just rewatching some of this stuff that I haven't seen in forever. And looking at it, it's fun looking at it at a critical eye, too, and instead of just, just watching it for the sake of watching it.
Yeah. You start to ask questions more, you start to ask more questions and such.
And I'm also way more of a comic fan now than I was when I first watched these, because I was very much a casual fan back then.
Okay.
Now, my knowledge back then was more from the animated cartoons and stuff rather than the comic books.
And it's so different too, still, right?
Yeah, I mean they're different, but the animated Batman series is really, really good.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, so overall, what are you giving it?
Yeah, I didn't hate this movie. Obviously, like you said, it's a good movie. It did bring superhero movies into the light. Like I compare this one to how Iron Man brought the new movies into light. Like. It was like this is that phase, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, from what I'm reading about the impact of this movie, it like really brought in the idea of a summer blockbuster too.
Which is like, I feel superheroes needed that. Out of 10, what would I give this movie? I was debating between a 7 and an 8. I think I would give this an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. That's funny because I was going 7.
No way, really?
Yeah, considering you liked it less than me and gave it a better score, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, just because, like I said, this is the one that helped push these movies, into that realm.
Yeah, but so you have that aspect of it from a movie point of view, but I have the comic point of view, and it lost points for me on that aspect of it all.
Just because of those two scenes we talked about?
Because of, how much it insulted the comic lore, I think. In parts.
Okay.
I'm watching the scene right now where she's kissing the Joker's sleeve, Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
And at one point she kisses a part of her sleeve and it looked like she got something on her tongue and she had to pull it out like she was gross.
Oh, that's good. What's a metaphor there somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised you gave that. I thought you would give this like 8 as well. Maybe at most a 9. I'm surprised.
No, it's a good movie.
It is,
but I don't think it's a fantastic movie.
Definitely not.
If you get what I mean. So, and I like to leave myself room for my ratings.
Well, see, that's what I was debating too. Like, I was thinking if I give it a 7, it should be trying to get room for other things. Like, I don't think that's doing that justice for this movie because it is by itself. Like, not comparing it to future movies that come out. Like, the ones I'm going to give higher scores, like, at the time, it's a good movie. It did really well.
Yeah, but that's also, we're coming at it from 2 different points of view, too. So, yeah, I guess that's it for this one.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, screw these people. Let's go.
Peace. Now, go dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Oh God, just stop the goddamn recording.
Language!